Somewhere in the dark parts of Dublin, a well-known crime family called the Family has quietly made a stronghold where they control the Irish underworld. While the Kinahan cartel's bad name and the attention that came with it grew, the Family smartly rose through the ranks to become the country's biggest drug lords. Their strong links to criminal groups in Eastern Europe and their never-ending desire for money have helped them build a lucrative empire that sends a lot of illegal drugs to Ireland. Today, we're going to dive into the dark world of the mafia and tell you a shocking story of how one Irish family rose to power so astonishingly fast. Since the early 1990s, the Kinahan family used to be Ireland's drug kingpins. But their desire to become famous on a global scale and increase police actions have made it harder for them to control their own country. At the same time, the family quietly strengthened their position, taking advantage of the chaos that followed the deadly Kinahan-Hutch conflict, which ended with 18 deaths and the arrest of over 80 gang members. The family's reputation was strengthened by the effects of the gang war, which took attention away from what they were doing. Now, the family is the main source of heroin in Ireland, with customers in cities from Dublin to Cork. They keep things under tight control by making deals with drug rings in Eastern Europe to make sure that drugs keep coming into the country. The family stands out from other groups like the Kinahans by using a plan that is different from theirs. Instead of acting like competitors who are loud and aggressive, the family chooses to use their power from behind the veil of secret. Their main drug is heroin, but they have recently started selling cocaine, ketamine, and MDMA as well. They stay away from the more dangerous parts of the drug trade on purpose. Brian Grendon was made in charge after this. He is a calm and calculating criminal mastermind, and the family has learned from other people's mistakes. They know that problems like public attention, violence, and feuds will kill their business, so they do everything they can to avoid them. Its close-knit core group gives the family its real power. Brian Grendon and his brother Philip are at the center of this. Both of them come from rough parts of West Dublin. The criminal organization is held together by a local group of about a dozen associates, spread out in key locations across Dublin. They have slowly built their criminal kingdom over the past 20 years. So Brian is someone with a keen sense of business, remains focused, and never mixed business with his personal life. In other words, he completely stays away from drugs. In contrast, Philip struggles with paranoia and instability, and these are also traits his family does not appreciate about him. The family regularly recruits drug addicts and offers substances like cocaine and heroin as payment to them for any jobs. During these jobs, they effectively use them as a shield against potential legal repercussions during police crackdowns. The addicts don't even know what hits them until they're behind bars. While the gang's wealth has grown, so has their run-ins with the law. However, these run-ins haven't stopped them from moving forward. Brian Grendon stays out of sight because he is known for staying off the radar. Reports say that his gang uses a lot of throwaway cell phones every week as a way to stay out of sight. Members of the gang are very quiet about the illegal things they do. They even do counter-surveillance while moving. However, they weren't always this careful. Back in 2001, Brian, who was 25 years old at the time, was caught with heroin worth almost 2 million euros. He spent a long time in jail because of this, but as soon as he got out of jail, he quickly rebuilt his network and became Ireland's biggest heroin supplier. Philip, on the other hand, met his end in Spain many years later. In 2014, he was locked up in a hotel in Valencia with 3.8 million euros worth of cocaine in his bags. He desperately threw a bag full of cocaine out his window because he was paranoid and thought his competitors were coming up behind him. When he got locked out of his room, his plan went wrong, and the cops found him with the last suitcase full of cocaine. He was given a 7-year sentence. A lot of raids by the police have taken place against the family, and large amounts of drugs, cash, expensive watches, and cars have been taken away. In 2015, a raid on the home of Jason Rowe, a father of 4, found drugs and guns worth over 3 million euros. Rowe was blamed, but it was clear that the drugs that were found were connected to the family. Large-scale arrests, like the one of Darren Hoey, the group's financial expert, show how much money they make illegally. The family kept going, growing their business, and using the used car market to hide their money. A major operation in 2020 uncovered a family-run business, and cops seized an unprecedented 4 million euros in drug money. Investigators searched Hoey's home and a cottage and found a secret stash of cash in his Audi. He was arrested. This record-breaking 4 million euro find showed how many drugs the family was selling. But it wasn't just money. During the raid, a secret ledger was found that showed 17 million euros in drug trades over 3 months. This gave the police a rare look into the family's large and successful drug business. The family's secret ties with the Turkish mafia came to light the previous year, which was a turning point in their criminal history. Their plans to flood Ireland's drug market with heroin were revealed. Even though they carefully planned the operation, something went wrong. As a result, heroin worth 1 million euros was found at an Irish B&B, and 2 Turkish criminals were later arrested. Even though these problems and ongoing questions have slowed the family down, they are still moving forward. They are very good with money. And it's not just for drug trafficking. They have mastered sophisticated ways to launder money and have taken over legitimate businesses in many fields, from veterinary clinics to the car industry. Researchers looking into their financial dealings have found that they hide a huge amount of money. Every year, about 120 million euros are taken out of Ireland, without anyone knowing. This huge amount, 10 million euros a month, is only a small part of the total amount of money they want to get rid of. The extra money is either spent within Ireland or put back into their drug network to make it stronger. This supports their huge drug trade, which brings in about 20 million euros a month. The family's business is constantly growing, and their money is carefully reinvested to keep the flow of drugs going and keep their market dominance. Notably, they have purposely avoided gang fights and violence, showing that they value business over violence. Still, the family hasn't completely avoided being linked to violent crime. The murder of Gary Carey in July of 2022, which was thought to have been ordered by them, hurt their reputation. Carey was viciously attacked outside the Hilton Hotel. This was likely in response to him invading the family's space, which may have been D.D. O'Driscoll's territory, since he is known to be connected to organized crime. The fact that Carey was put to death showed how far the family would go to protect their kingdom, if they actually were the ones that got it done. Over the past year, the ongoing fight with police got worse, ending with a tactical blow to their activities. Brian Grendon and others were arrested after a series of planned raids, where large amounts of money were found, including 30,000 euros at Grendon's home and 700,000 euros spread out in different places. The searches, which took place in 24 places, also found €200,000 hidden in a car on its way to Northern Ireland. When expensive things and cars were taken away, it became clear that the gang lived a lavish life. Even though Grendon is out on bail right now, the case against him and his criminal group is still ongoing. This is a very important point in the fight to break up their complex criminal network.